This video is to be watched on Thursday, March 26th. Okay, so I'm going to start off by reviewing a little bit about expansionary fiscal policy and contractionary fiscal policy. So just basically a review of what we've done in the earlier videos. And also we'll talk a little bit more about built-in stability and the automatic stabilizers. And then we'll go into some of the problems, criticisms, and complications of implementing fiscal policy. So a brief review here. What you see on the board is, I hope you know, an economy functioning at full employment. So this is what we hope is long-run stability or equilibrium in the macro economy. Aggregate supply, aggregate demand, we're operating right at, notice I just called it Y sub F instead of FE, so a lowercase f is what I'm going to use from now on for full employment level of output. And of course, the price level here is right there at PL1. All right, so if the economy goes into recession, we need expansionary fiscal policy. AD1 we'll call this. This is what's happening now with the coronavirus outbreak. Everyone's staying at home. We're going to wind up back here. We'll call that Y1. That'll be the recessionary level of output, possibly a hit of as much as $4 trillion to the U.S. economy here. And then expansionary fiscal policy is the package that Congress passed late last night and was announced today. Today is Wednesday, the 25th. $2 trillion of stimulus spending, a lot of it in loans to small business, a good amount of it in a check that's going to be cut and sent to households. We may not get that check until May, but hopefully it'll come as soon as possible. And the idea is to shift aggregate demand back to the right. So that's expansionary fiscal policy. They didn't talk much. In a sense, the money that they're giving away here is a tax cut. It's actually being proposed as a rebate on taxes that people may have already paid or are going to be paying in the near future. So interesting the way that they're framing this. All right. Contractionary policy is necessary when the economy is overheating. We haven't seen that in recent years, but it's possible that the economy could shift out here to AD2. And we would get some inflation. It would be an inflationary time, and we would need contractionary fiscal policy to try to move us back to full employment output, long-run equilibrium. We would probably wind up with some inflation. Hopefully we'd be able to come back here and get back to that point, shifting AD back a little bit with contractionary policy, which would be raising taxes or reducing government output, government spending rather. We talked about built-in stability in the system. So some words I didn't use in that video. Discretionary government spending is spending that Congress can either enact and authorize the federal government to spend or can cut back whenever it wants to. Things like improving airports, infrastructure spending, or cutting back on those programs to deal with the infrastructure. And then there's non-discretionary policy, which is spending on things that has to occur, that is set in motion, and Congress can't simply undo, or the president can't simply undo. So the built-in stability is based on these non-discretionary things that laws that Congress has already passed, and that would be when we go into recession, the government automatically gets lower tax revenues. Tax rates actually drop a little bit because fewer people are in those higher tax brackets. They're moving into lower tax brackets with the loss of income. And what your book refers to, and I think is accurate, there's an increase in transfer payments from the federal government, and those are actually negative taxes. When the government gives welfare benefits to families with children, or when the government gives unemployment checks to workers, that's actually like a negative tax. So those taxes are reduced tremendously, and that's an automatic built-in stability, moving us back toward equilibrium output and full employment. And then when the economy is overheating, people are making more money. Some of their income is being taxed at a higher rate. They're moving into that 24, 22, 24, 25, 27, 28% tax bracket. The average tax rate goes up a little bit. And those negative taxes, in other words, those subsidy payments to people, fewer people are unemployed, so there's less unemployment being given away, and fewer people need the support payments to families. So that is an automatic cut, if you will, in government spending, and that shifts us back toward equilibrium. So that's a review of discretionary fiscal policy in terms of expansionary or contractionary and automatic built-in stabilizers. And I'm going to cut this video at this point, and I'll go into the criticisms, if you will, of fiscal policy in the next video.